the Atlanta Braves.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 live at 5.
South Carolina lawmakers and school officials are looking to improve school meals. We'll take a look at how this could impact your child in just a few minutes. But first, since 2006, Historic Augusta has helped save 31 historic properties from demolition and given them new life. From private property to renovated apartments, the group's goal is to protect Augusta's rich history. And now they're looking forward to next year and highlighting what projects they have in store. Our Craig Allison is live in downtown Augusta. And Craig, break down what projects Historic Augusta is trying to save.
Well, here at 8th and Green Street, the Historic Augusta has labeled the Old Baptist Church here as an imminently imperiled landmark. They say that it's buildings like this that are collecting dust every day are just one step away from being taken away altogether. Now, the sign in front of the building says saved, but the brick is still falling apart here, and people experiencing homelessness are occupying the steps. We actually covered the Sherman and Hem Street Real Estate Group when they said back in 2020 that they would be renovating the space, but it stands today looking very similar to how it looked several years ago. Historic Augusta says every time it rains, parts of the iconic dome and inside deteriorate away. It's why the group each year released the endangered property list.
More code enforcement before they get to the point of being blighted and needing to be torn down, that would be a big help. But of course everybody has limited resources. However, it should be a priority because Augusta is full of old buildings and historic buildings that should be saved, but a lot of times they get to the point of no return. And that's part of what this list that we announce each year is about, to bring attention.
All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock. We'll also hear from a downtown business owner on their thoughts about these empty buildings needing to be occupied and used. In Augusta, Craig Allison on your side.
All right, thanks, Craig. Looking forward to seeing what projects they take on to see if they can help fix some of those buildings in downtown Augusta. Well, switching gears to weather now as we check in with First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale. Riley, we're looking for some warmer temperatures right now. Will we get that, or is it going to stay cold?
No, well, I think what we had our coldest morning, we're going to see for the next at least 7 days. We are looking at temperatures to see, we're actually looking at our temperatures to warm up a good bit over the next several afternoons and mornings as well. So these temps that did get down into the mid and upper 30s out there earlier today, we are not going to see the 30s anytime soon moving forward this week. But 34, the coldest spot there in the Sumter Forest there in McCormick County, Appling, Grovetown, and Columbia County, you saw 38, SRS and Aiken County, same thing there in Saluda, Bushfield, Aiken, anywhere in the upper 30s. So it was a cold start, but Danielfield actually stayed close to 50 degrees. So this is thanks to our urban heat out effect. Whenever we have these days with a lot of sunshine, it warms up that asphalt concrete, just re-radiates that heat out at nighttime. So we're likely going to see a big temperature difference again tomorrow morning between our two airports. Danielfield will likely stay in the mid 50s. Bushfield will likely drop as low as the mid 40s. So about a 10-degree temperature difference again there out there early tomorrow. High pressures over the East Coast. This is keeping us high and dry. No rain in our forecast the next couple of days, and honestly, even through early next week, not much rain out there for us. Evening planner looking good. Just a quick drop in our temperatures once that sun goes away. We'll have much more on the full forecast, but let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, here's a live look at I-20 and Riverwatch Parkway. We have sunshine overhead, and luckily, no major traffic issues if you are crossing over the state line. Just a little bit busy there on Riverwatch Parkway, but not too unusual for this time of the day. Grovetown, exit 190, Lewiston Road, our usual backup going to the interstate and the exit, but just a beautiful look over Columbia County. Not too many traffic issues there either. That full forecast is heading your way in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks, Riley. Big changes surrounding who's in charge of the meals South Carolina students eat at schools could soon be coming. It's the focus of a committee at the State House right now, made up of lawmakers and representatives from both the education and agriculture sectors. Our State House reporter Mary Green has the details.
This committee has a few questions before that could shake up the school meals program here in South Carolina. But the big one they're figuring out is if the State Department of Education should remain in charge of school nutrition services, or if they should shift that responsibility to the Department of Agriculture.
If the government's got a program that's working, you better leave it alone, because we do a whole lot of programs that aren't working so good.
Senate Education Committee Chair Greg Hembry says from the testimony this committee has heard, he thinks the Department of Education is doing a good job operating school nutrition services. Hembry says he hasn't seen enough evidence to necessitate moving the program to the Department of Agriculture and believes it would cause needless disruption. While some do, not everyone shares his view, with other committee members still on the fence and some in favor of the transition to the Department of Agriculture. Representative Jermaine Johnson says he was initially against moving food services, but now feels it's the best option to support South Carolina students in the cafeteria and the classroom.
South Carolina is consistently in the bottom every year when it comes to education. So I don't see personally how offloading some of its responsibilities or sending it over somewhere else is going to be a bad thing for our Department of Education, and allowing them to spend more time on educating our children.
The committee ultimately decided Tuesday to wait and get some more information before issuing any recommendations. That includes getting testimony on a potential hybrid model that would keep some responsibilities with the Department of Education and move others under the Department of Agriculture, as well as updated data that could clue them in on the cost to offer free school meals to every student in South Carolina. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
And this committee plans to meet at least once more to figure out its recommendations. Those are due before the entire legislature returns to Columbia in January. A Georgia mother is now being charged in the death of her son. Last week, firefighters in Peachtree Corners found a 6-year-old boy with stab wounds while responding to an apartment fire. The boy, later identified as Javion Pruitt, died at the hospital. While investigating, police say that they found a woman hiding behind the apartment building with no shoes and wet clothes. Now authorities say that woman is Pruitt's 23-year-old mother. She's facing several charges, including murder and arson. She is in jail without bond tonight. The search continues this evening for 3 men missing off the Georgia coast. They went out for a fishing trip last week and then just vanished. Coast Guard officials say the crew left last Saturday to fish around 50 to 80 miles off the Georgia coast. But after they didn't return last Wednesday, the search began. The Coast Guard has scanned more than 20,000 square miles off Georgia and South Carolina's coast by air and sea, but still no sign of the 3 men or their boat this evening. 2 of the 3 men on board are professional fishermen, but for one, it was his first trip.
We're sick to our stomachs. Lots of tears and gatherings and getting together to try to uplift each other and stay positive whenever we're all wanting to fall apart.
The fishermen usually have a communication device on them, but they haven't made contact with it. The families involved say the Coast Guard is staying in close communication with them and that they still have hope that their loved ones are alive. The Georgia Supreme Court upholding the state's restrictive abortion law. Today, the court rejected a lower court ruling that the state's ban was invalid. This means that the state's limited access to abortions will remain unchanged for now. Georgia's Life Act, also known as the Heartbeat Bill, prohibits abortions after a fetal heartbeat can be detected. That's usually at around 6 weeks into a pregnancy before some women may realize that they're pregnant. Executive Director of the Georgia Life Alliance, Claire Bartlett, thanking the Georgia Supreme Court. She says her organization is forever thankful for the political will shown by Georgia's pro-life elected officials like Governor Brian Kemp, who fought for the Life Act passage in 2019. Democratic Senator John Ossoff shared his thoughts on the ruling today in a statement saying Georgia's abortion ban strips women of their autonomy in the most personal health decisions, and that the abortion ban risks worsening our state's women's health crisis. A shortage of firefighting equipment putting Atlanta firefighters on high alert. The fire chief says that the reserve fleet of trucks and crew isn't just in trouble, it's non-existent. The chief says that there are 8 fire engines and 9 ladder trucks out of commission due to mechanical issues. There was recently a fire at an apartment complex under construction. The chief says that instead of 6 ladder trucks responding to that fire, they were only able to get 2 out there that were available, and one of them wasn't fully functional.
Is that an example of where maybe y'all's hindered fleet impacted your response?
Oh, definitely. I am
very worried about the safety of Atlantans, our visitors, our citizens, and it truly does keep me up at night.
The city of Atlanta is considering investing $16 million into upgrading its fire fleet, but the fire chief says that due to supply chain issues and new fire vehicles could take up to a year and a half to be delivered. South Carolina has the second highest wait list for kidney transplants in the nation, according to Prisma Health. And now a South Carolina family is sharing their story after two cousins underwent the extensive transplant surgery. The pair hope that sharing their story will inspire someone else to check if they're a match with an extended family member.
If you can give someone an organ and have them live longer, especially a family member, that's more time y'all have together.
Of all the things I have accomplished, I would say this one is the most meaningful.
Some of the reasons South Carolina is second highest in the nation for the kidney transplant wait list includes the state's high diabetes rates and hypertension. The county's move to prevent crime is coming under fire this evening. It's requiring surveillance cameras a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. Well, we have that answer coming up next, Riley.
Well, it was a cold start this morning, but we are looking at much warmer temperatures for the rest of the week. Full forecast just after the break.
It's the phone call every parent dreads. Your child's been in a bad car accident. Coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, a local mom's search for justice, and it all begins out here on Richland Avenue.
Time and temp, brought to you. It's October at Milton Ruben Toyota. Join us in our drive to save kids from SIDS. Save big on cars, trucks, and SUVs. Lease a new 2023 Crown for $429 a month.
Welcome back, folks. A live look over Clarks Hill Lake from our Thurman Dam cam, showing a beautiful afternoon. Generally sunny skies. We have one lone cloud out there for the most part. Not too many clouds out there for the CSRA. 75 degrees this afternoon. Very dry air in place, so luckily no worry about the heat index. Humidity is going to stay low the rest of the week. Our temperatures will gradually warm up, though, over the next couple of afternoons. If you're heading out this evening, temperatures drop pretty quick again, so definitely grab the jacket if you are heading out. If you are going to be out before sunset, we should stay in the 70s and 60s. Looking ahead to tomorrow, it is going to be another cool start. Not quite as cold as the 30s like we saw this morning, but we are expecting at least mid-40s right around sunrise, but warming up quickly into the 70s by the lunch hour, and it looks like our high temps will most likely top out into the upper 70s by Wednesday afternoon. Generally sunny skies early. Will start to just turn partly cloudy later into the day, but still no rain in our forecast anytime soon for us. It looks like our high temperatures will gradually warm up as we head into Thursday, Friday, and this weekend. We should be able to see these highs close to 80 all the way into early next week, possibly even up until just the day before Halloween. Average highs this time of year, mid-70s. These highs are just going to run about 4 to 8 degrees above average over the next several afternoons. All thanks to our jet stream. So we are building in an upper level ridge, and that's going to keep that cooler air well north of us. So we are going to see these highs stay above average across the southeast all the way through this weekend. Once we get into early next week, we are going to see this big upper level trough. This is going to be digging south, and that is going to bring us a temperature change as we head into the middle of next week. So you can see for our Halloween next Tuesday, you can see many spots across the Midwest. They're only seeing highs in the 30s and 40s, and our high temps will start to cool off into the mid 70s, and then we'll really start to see that cooler air show up Wednesday and later on into next week. Here's a look at our Halloween forecast. I know a lot of people are worried about our trick-or-treaters out there. Right now, not looking like we're going to see much rainfall from our two global models. So the GFS and European model both keep us dry Tuesday evening around 6 p.m. We just kind of paused it right at that time frame on that day for us. As far as temperatures go, the GFS model is a little bit slower with the front, so it still keeps us a little bit warmer. The European is a little quicker with that front, so it brings in that cooler air a little bit sooner. But 60s, 70s, either of those look pretty good for trick-or-treating, and luckily not going to have to dodge too many raindrops. Once we get past Tuesday next week, you can see our longer-term outlook. does start to flip again. So we are going to see those temperatures cool off. Once we see this warming trend for the next week or so, it is going to flip as we head into the start of November. And so it looks like November will come in with a little bit more of a chill. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. We are going to see partly cloudy skies tomorrow, mostly sunny, heading into the weekend with warm high temperatures, and morning temperatures will be more mild, most likely mid-50s once we get past tomorrow.
Thanks, Riley. A national nonprofit law firm setting its sights on DeKalb County. An ordinance there recently passed requires all gas stations to install surveillance cameras at all entries, exits, gas pumps, and cash registers. They're also required to turn over that video evidence within 72 hours when requested by police. The Institute for Justice claims that this violates the Fourth Amendment, which protects your privacy. Chelsea Beanfor explains how the county is responding.
The number one place for violent crimes in DeKalb County is at our gas and service stations.
DeKalb Commissioner Lorraine Cochran-Johnson authored the ordinance requiring all gas stations in unincorporated DeKalb to install cameras at every entry, exit, gas pump, and cash register.
As an elected official, my first responsibility is to public safety.
This was all in an effort to cut down on crime and assist police with criminal investigations. But on Monday, commissioners received a letter from a nonprofit law firm in Arlington, Virginia, asking them to reverse course, arguing the legislation is unconstitutional.
I think it is a far stretch to say that it's a violation of Fourth Amendment rights.
Jared McLean is an attorney at the Institute for Justice, a public interest law firm fighting against various laws that, quote, permit government officials to conduct unreasonable searches and seizures. He takes issue with the portion of the DeKalb ordinance that states footage must be stored for 60 days and turned over to police within 72 hours of being requested.
What the Fourth Amendment requires is that when the government wants to either come onto or take your property, they need to go before a neutral judge and show that they have a good reason to believe that they're going to find the evidence of a crime when they conduct that search.
Cochran-Johnson says she had not seen the letter until Atlanta News first brought it to her attention Monday afternoon. After reading it in full, she says she stands by the best practices outlined in the document and says if store owners don't voluntarily hand over surveillance video of a crime, local law enforcement will obtain a warrant.
We are just moving forward with our ordinance, and we stand prepared to defend it.
And the Institute says that they are reaching out to businesses impacted by this ordinance.
And I get all worried because it's my mom, and there's nothing I can do about that.
A daughter's plea as her mother remains trapped in Israel this evening. Coming up, we'll hear their story.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group. It's Dark.
All right, it is Tuesday, so we have our latest winner for the Plunkett Heating and Air Sunshade Giveaway. Congratulations to Allison Soulsby from Johnston, South Carolina. To get your own sunshade, just go to wrdw.com. You can click on contests and enter your email right there. We'll have another quick look at the forecast for you just after a short break.
It's Ram Power Days in Waynesboro.
15% off MSRP on new Ram 1500 Classics. Discounted $7,500.
Take a short drive on Highway 25 to save time and money.
Shop goodtogowaynesboro.com. No matter where you're, ask your doctor about to fix it.
It's Jeep Adventure Days in Waynesboro.
New Jeep Compass, just $530 a month with 0 down.
Choose the exact vehicle you want, and we'll deliver it within 500 miles.
Good to go, Waynesboro.com.
We'll take a look at this. Riverbank Zoo in Columbia has welcomed its new green sea turtle. The unnamed hatchling is from a nest near Huntington Beach State Park, and the zoo says the hatchling is doing fantastic and is swimming and diving stronger than expected here. In 2 years, the turtle will be released into the wild, but for now, the hatchling is getting comfortable behind the scenes and is expected to make its debut to visitors in the spring. And I believe we're coming to the very end of nesting season for some of our sea turtle friends. It's getting cool out there, Riley.
Absolutely, coming to an end now that we are starting to see some cooler temperatures, and we are looking at beautiful weather if you are heading out this evening. Clear skies overhead, and we actually have a pretty cool view of the waxing gibbous moon from our tower cam, and we are looking looking at the full moon to actually occur. I believe it's Saturday. Saturday is when we have the full moon for October. 75 degrees this afternoon. Beautiful conditions if you're stepping out. And if you're lucky enough to have a tea time tomorrow, I am jealous. You're looking at a pretty cool start to the day, but a beautiful afternoon Wednesday. High temp should most likely hit the mid-70s out there. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. We are going to hang on to dry weather the next 7 days and get ready for the 80s to make a return by Thursday. Stick with us. We're going to have much more Live at 5 just after a short break.
They say patience is a virtue, but for some things, we can't wait.